You're in Safe Space, New Jersey fan. It is your boy, Jordan Brown, aka Jordan. In the studio with my good friends.
Jason Koenig.
Yeah. Zero.
And we want to have a special thank you to Faith-Based Office of Faith-Based Services,
aka OFBI. And if you guys want to look them up, check them out at their website. Really good organization that we collaborate with that really helps benefits the New Jersey State community. So last time we left off in Safe Space New Jersey, we were talking about issues regarding like anti-bullying, stuff like that, and everything like that. I believe last week's topic we discussed how bullying can affect people post-traumatic. It carries them to life. It kind of makes it hard for them to trust or like interact with other people in like the outside daily world. Now we're trying to find ways to like expand more on that, and also trying to find ways to like create solutions, helping people move forward and finding like a sense of inner peace so that they could start connecting with the outside again. So pretty much I had my own experiences with like bullying, verbal bullying, mental bullying, and stuff like that, where people tell me I'm not good enough, and that kind of took a toll on me personally when they, tried to like put myself out there as an artist, as a singer. People telling me they're like, "Oh, I'm doing this, doing that." Your voice is a little, that kind of gave me like a little bit of stage fright. So there was that post-traumatic stress. What helped me personally to get over that was the fact is that I just started doing what I wanted again. I didn't let stop me from like being myself. I didn't let stop me from showcasing like the talent that I started showcasing my ability to say I can do stuff with other people. It really, started to boost up my confidence again. Anybody here, Jason, has any experience something like that where like you've had effective bullying that really kind of took a toll on you, but you just gotta find ways to like get past that.
I think so. I mean, there have been times where, with different. As I can't say for sure. I mean, maybe not making a specific sports team, and then going to intramurals, and then when you complete intramurals, you try it again, you get onto the team. So I think the message there would be like to not give up on yourself and to keep going and to have be perseverance and just have perseverance and resilience. I think those are like two key qualities. If you have those two key qualities in you, then I think you're guaranteed to be successful. I think in taking like the extra steps and just to go forward, you can't get down on yourself and thinking it's the end of the world when it's really not. What I've learned is I used to get upset if something first did not work out. That what happens is that something better comes along, and you just look back and you say, "Well, why did I get so? Why did I beat myself up over something that really when something else is out there is bad for me, but I didn't realize that at the time. But now I do, and I mean it still happens to me every day today. Sometimes you can be in a certain situation, you might get someone might not follow you, some people are, but more people find that also more people approve of you than disapprove of you. And as a bully disapproves you, they're facing their own disapproval maybe 10, 20 times fold over you. So I think it's just important to just to learn to go forward. I mean that's my own experience.
Yeah, think and going back to like what you said, those two words right there. I like those two words: perseverance and resilience. The fact is that you persevere through like the hardships in your life, and you're trying to like fall back into like that cesspool of negative self-balance, and the feeling of like stress that basically brings you down from like interacting with other people. And it kind of also brought me to another thing that I was researching called more so institutional bullying. Basically, it's like, we're all familiar with like bullying at school, like schools, bullies and like, college campuses, stuff like that. But there's also the case of institutional bullying where you face like more professional bullying, as well as like bullying like in the workplace, bullying, social events, or even more so like, it's sad to say this, even places of like spiritual, beliefs and worship, like there are.
I agree.
Yeah, and I've personally faced like a lot of like bullying, institutional bullying. Like definitely when I was a college kid at King University, I was like, okay, it's college. There's gonna be people here that are a little bit more, open minded than they were back in high school. But the cycle repeats. There are still social cliques. There's still people that are putting you down just because you don't fit a certain criteria that fits into their narrative, and you just want it to be like this happy-go-lucky person trying to get a fresh start. Now the situation only becomes like 10 times more worse, and my solution for that was basically isolate myself from like the most negative people and find another group of people who will give me more positive affirmations than they would negative affirmations. I also had to learn the fact that people are people. You're gonna find like the worst kinds of examples of people trying to put you down because you're this, they say that you're this, you're that, but it's really all like that perseverance and resilience to get away from like that negative self-talk that really like motivates you to go for it. Because my goal was to get out of college, get my bachelor's degree, move on my life, pursue a career in theater. Yeah, and then on the topic of bullying in the church, over like places of spiritual like getaway, like spiritual like release. And it's sad to see like there's been a lot of like news reports and stuff like that about like high standards in the church, pastors doing putting a lot of stuff in their sermons, coming after people that act a certain way or move a certain way, act differently, even like people in like the church congregation. Just like you're supposed to be a follower of God and a follower of Jesus and not judging anybody. Yet you are casting judgment on other people who don't, operate the same way that you do. And I don't know, I think you ever had any experiences like that? A little bit.
I think it's all comes with changing the narrative you're saying about getting involved in social cliques at churches and institutional bullying.
Yeah.
I think it's like you say changing it. I know I might repeat myself, but changing the narrative, looking for the positives and finding somewhere where you do fit in. Maybe at school, if you don't fit in with certain like social clique, to try and engage another social clique, and if you are having difficulty, find out what interests you. If you speak with a counselor or a teacher, and finding out
Be that you trust.
a pastor or like I said, who people are
Pastor, deaconess, whatever.
Close friend may know something, and finding out what's for you may be something that you're interested in that you didn't even know that they know. So if you, for example, like maybe art, or you did like maybe role when you were a little kid, but they don't really pursue hockey, maybe another field, basketball. So I mean, there are tons of ways. I mean, myself, who's not really into basketball, honestly, but then once I got a little older, I got with a couple friends, and I really now enjoy playing basketball.
Yeah.
So it's all in like who you can relate to.
Yeah. And it was the same thing for me being like a kid who was kind of like the opposite. Like I wasn't really like the typical like family. It was the sports athlete for football stuff, everything like that. Did play basketball, the Boys and Girls Club and everything like that, but wasn't really like love basketball, but I wasn't really passionate about basketball. I wasn't passionate about any sport. And when I started doing theater, I was like, hey, I'm actually really good at this. I started doing concert choir, stuff like that where I fit in, and I felt like I was safe amongst people that were just like me. That's where I found people that related to me, and it was cool to even find out that there's people in like artistic fields and stuff like that were into the same stuff I'm into, like anime and comic books, like movies, that sort of deal. So it was really eye-opening experience to just find people like that fit into like my own relatability narrative. But going back to like the whole institutional bullying, there's also even times where it's like they kind of like, for example, spiritual bullies or like church bullies, people that basically kind of like go after people down their narrative of faith. Like, for example, if you're a Christian person and you're judging someone who's like Muslim or Jewish because of the way like they practice their own faith, their practice religion, or even people that don't even have religion at all, it's sad. It's sad to see that places that were supposed to be safe spaces for like spiritual release, a place where you can find meditation, comfort, and stuff like that. It's a place of judgment, and it's like,
It is a place of judgment.
and it's wow, just like this is supposed to be a place of worship, but and there's also a lot of PTSD that comes from that too. But, I'm starting off like maybe someone in our group, Isaiah, maybe someone could share kind of like their own personal experience dealing with something like that, or maybe their thoughts. It's open session for everybody. So if anybody wants to talk, anybody in chat, anybody here, get out.
Right? I mean, with the we're seeing the post-traumatic stress. I mean, some kids, there are kids who are out there who do experience that. They experience post-traumatic stress, and that causes other negative behaviors.
Yeah.
And you want to try and prevent those negative behaviors by engaging in a healthy release, because bullying relates to stress.
Yeah.
So you want to have a healthy release and engage in some type of activity that you enjoy. And if you even having difficulty finding a healthy release, Safe Space New Jersey is there for you as youth, for young adults. We're there for you. If you want to come by at some point when we start our, we do have a
So we welcome everybody to the group, whether you're someone who's religious, whether you're someone who is a non-believer or an atheist, or people who are just going through mental health struggles, that sort of deal. Anything that's bugging you on the Safe Space New Jersey, you have a home here, you're safe here. Let's believe.
And I think taking care of yourself is another part of it also.
Yes.
Taking care of yourself. And then I was reading that one of these schools out in New York has a mediation room. Where kids can go in and they can go, if they're feeling bullied, go and confront the person they're feeling bullied, and they can confront the person. And the success rate has been they've gotten there only it's 99, almost 90%, and they've only had 3 fights throughout the 3 conversations throughout the year, and they have a little mediation. It still takes place in middle school. And they have peer mediators that are trained to help other kids who are being affected by bullying.
Yeah.
It is something that's been very successful among youth in that school.
That's excellent. I personally think that a lot of schools should implore something like that, especially at a very adolescent type of age, where you're going to see a lot of social interactions. Most start out negative. You're going to see a lot of personalities being thrown around. And I definitely think that works out. I actually believe I did read an article on the news that off campus was doing something called Safer, where basically if people were suffering from stress, if people were suffering from anxiety, stress, the fact that classes are becoming too much, the fact is that the social environment is really unnerving them. They're going to that safe room and they could just basically let out their emotions. If they're angry, they could just scream. If they're feeling upset or sad, they could let some tears flow, and it's hey, that's pretty much us.
It's a way that where these meditation rooms, they also offer different counseling services and are completely beneficial for youth who attend. And I mean, there should be. I hope more schools employ some of these types of services within their schools and safe space. And one of those organizations that hopefully we can implement that type of service for kids.
Yeah. Adults. Yeah. Soon.
And then trying to, going back to what can help you as a youth, what can help you really be stress relief. And listening to, having a bad day, listening, I know what helps me is listening to music. Or just sitting in a quiet room, maybe meditation will help. Or doing some type of artwork.
That's intensity. So basically what I notice is kids nowadays, they have a problem with faith, what they should believe in, what religion, what psych, whatever. When you're young, when you're when you have responsibilities as a father or something like that, you try to keep your kid in like the line. Exactly. 9 out of 10, a lot of people go to Christianity, but there are certain people who say in church one way to come out the other way when pictures done. One example, like let's say you don't want to go to church, you don't believe in it. Your own family treats you like dirt. That's one way where that's another form of bullying.
That's a domestic bullying, like bullying at home.
One,
And at home, and then you can also try to find something that you don't want. If I want something, if I want to believe in something, then me as a person has the right to believe in what I want to believe in. Whether it's Buddhism, it's Christian, whether it's being a Catholic. What it is your own opinions. Yeah, your family is there to help you find value with you. But you gotta understand it like this. Every sometimes in life you gotta fall down, or fall. Simple as that.
Yeah, I 100% agree with the thing Isaiah is talking about. Like, the fact that we see a lot of like institutional bullying and domestic bullying, not just like in places like churches or synagogues or places of worship, supposed to like shape the next young mind tomorrow to basically being like leaders, being, entrepreneurs, being like the best version that they could be based on like God's word and everything like that. What if they basically start to decide like their own path or like their own way of thinking, their own opinions and everything like that? Because here's the thing, I openly admit that as a Christian, I know for a fact that I wasn't perfect. Yeah, some people didn't. Yeah, there were like tons of people that didn't like me because I was angry at the time and made some mistakes of my own. But sometimes they're like, hey, I can openly admit I was the bully. And then I had to learn like, okay, the way that I'm making these people feel should not justify, my own downfall at the hands of people that made me feel small and made me feel insignificant and unimportant. That's where we go like, it's where the whole lesson of like person that you confront and you being the victim, you guys finding a common ground as you move forward to the future. Because I'm a personal believer in change and growth. Personally believe that like people can better themselves. People can better themselves space-based or not. So if you were a bully, you need to learn to confront those demons of your past, and you gotta like learn to be a better person for the future. Who you were when you were like 12 years old or 14 years old shouldn't be the person who you are now. And for all we know, maybe we don't throw like domestic bullying issues or institutional bullying.
Yeah, that's I think make worse bullying is like someone's facing either domestic bullying at home or domestic bullying at home, and they don't know how to deal with bullying themselves. So what they do, they come out and take it out of kids in school, so that becomes a bigger issue.
Yeah.
And the kids who are being bullied, I hope it's not. In some cases, it happens.
Yeah.
They become the bully. They become the bully, and you don't want to become the bully. You want to find that healthy medium or healthy release, so you don't something that interests you.
Yeah.
So you don't become that bully.
Yeah, and the whole problem like institutional bullying, where you have like Isaiah was just talking about, with like the churches, you got people acting one way when they're in like a certain like social scenario and everything like that, but the moment that they come out of it, they're a completely different person. Like a whole Joshua and Hines like just immediately switched off in their minds. That basically started saying it's like, okay, now that I'm out of this place and get to treat this person like this, that's like, that's what I'm saying. It's like my mom is like, here's the thing, mom. She's a Christian first and foremost. When she goes to church, she's a big believer. She's a big follower of God. She loves Jesus. She loves her church family and everything like that. When you go down to church, she's that same person. She's a loving mother. She don't play games, but she's still like a very genuine, unique person. She cares about people who are struggling on the street. She cares about people who are dying. She cares about parents that lost their children at a very, when they were at a very young age and stuff like that. And that's why my mom was the first person to encourage me to speaking up about my issues of me dealing with bullies, dealing with people harassing me and everything like that. She was the one. She was a cheerleader, and she told me um, like Jordan, you know that I love you. God loves you. I found a hard time believing that, especially in my early years. But then when I started finding my faith again, started finding my spiritual belief again. So Isaiah said, "I went home, but you've been forcing me into it." That's when I started finding more inner peace and everything like that. Coming to terms with what I am, and big guys tells down here a little bit, wait. But what he said definitely spoke to me about my story and how I became personal bullying affliction. It's really spoke to me.
I think what you're saying, it does have a big part of it. And even if you're being bullied, and I would see myself, I'm not that much of a religious person. I'm probably on a 1 in 10, I would say maybe a 7 or 6. So I really have been going to church myself because it does restore, I think, peace of mind, and it helps you that even though some people, when you're bullied, you feel lost and you have no one to know because this has happened. I think it's happened. I think everyone has been bullied at some point in their life, no matter how good or how cool or whatever it is. And that's why some people are bullies, because they've gotten bullied and want to take on someone else. And I think that you feel alone with bullied. But you feel you have no one. You may have family, friends, but for some kids who are bullied don't have anybody. But if you do, you still feel like there's no one. I think by sitting down and then possibly reaching out to God or going to church or just sitting,
finding some kind of outlets.
Yeah, and sitting maybe when you get home from work or school, or any time activity you're involved in, and just trying to have a little bit of peace of mind and relax, maybe meditate or listen to music. I think that's what I saw in the conversation, or just trying to find some type of inner peace and finding that person who you can talk to.
Yeah. That's another part of the finding a release by institutional bullying. You go to a place that makes you feel secure. You go to a place that makes you feel good. Now, it could be a Christian church, it could be a Catholic church where the people there are friendly, they're very welcoming people. They set you up with some food, some snacks and whatever like that to make you feel comfortable and stuff like that. I remember when I was going to Hillsong Church. They were playing more Christian music. There was blowing to the mix. They playing some guitar rehearsals and everything like that. I was feeling the music. Music,
It does help.
is
It does help.
when I finally realized how talk to the pastor of the church and talk to Pastor Diego. I was just staring at the college was a little hard for me.
It can be a little struggling. I think any type of schooling does have its challenges.
And this was a pastor that I never. This was like any pastor I've ever seen. This is a pastor that I knew growing up in the Baptist church. Suit tie on, they had the fresh fit every time that they came to church. Guy had tattoos. He was wearing a polo shirt. He was wearing khaki shorts. I'm it's this. And it was this person was one of the first and many really encouraged me to best version of myself, and then he told me the same thing that multiple people kept telling me all over my life: make it till you make it. First thing is evaluate yourself. It's when I started developing a more mature mindset, I really started to see that hey, I can move past who I was way back when I was younger. A lot of my friends who used to mess with me, talk a lot about me, stuff like that, they're starting to see hey, I'm living my life, I'm doing what makes me happy, and it's and they respect that. And really applaud people who were the victimizers, the aggressors in the soul scenario of bullying, starting to see a new life who they are. And there were times where it's you know, there was, I'm not gonna lie, there was times where like my dad, one minute he's this one guy when he's at church, the next minute he's like another guy when he gets home. But he was also starting to offer like some words of wisdom when I started turning 13 and 14 years old. And he told me, it's like, you need to, Jordan, listen, your dad ain't perfect. He's not like, he wasn't like the best when he was younger. And he faced his fair share of bullies and I had to confront them too. But what you need to do every step of your life, walk like a champion, think like a champion. That's what I want everyone here watching this podcast to do. I want you all to walk like champions and talk like champions. Whoever's messing with you, making you feel small and stuff like that, don't worry about it. The future,
Go forward.
go forward.
The film says the same thing, friends think you have to go, you can't go backward, no one can go forward. If you find yourself going backwards, it's just gonna lead to more of a going down the same path. You don't want to go down the same path, you want to go forward. Everyone wants to go forward.
Everybody's got to go forward. Just like more backwards.
It's going forward leads to success. And you don't want to feel like you're being victimized when you're not. You're trying to.
And more importantly, moving forward means you escape. Escape from that headache. You escape from that trauma. You escape from all the stuff that you used to do and stuff that you used to be. And you just heard Porky Pig. This is.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So that really, that was a really big saying that really pushed me in the right direction. And I try to be like my parents too. Try to be like and basically understand people of different histories, different struggles. Not everybody's going to be a Boy Scout like me. Not everybody's going to be the type of guy to basically say, oh, I'm a love this person, true, I like her, respect and everything like that. Like some people had to learn how to put their guards up, socializing with other people and everything like that. And I respected them for that. But I also told them it's like, give life a chance, give yourself a chance because you owe it to yourself. You have one life and so on. So I think from here, we make sure like
I think so. I think it'd be a great idea. But we also want to let you know that we are available. We're available for you, everyone. And our website is safecastenj.org. And if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out to us. One of us will get back to you as soon as possible. And we wish everyone well. And until next time.
And we will see you guys in the summer. Get some sun. Yeah, get outside. Get some beach. Come on now. Don't try. This is Safe Space, New Jersey.
Thank you, everyone, for watching our latest Safe Space New Jersey podcast episode. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a lot more information that you need to know about bullying remediation that was presented here today, but based on time restraints, we just didn't have enough time to give it to you live. So what we will do is present it to you now as a supplement to the actual broadcast. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching our podcast episode, and I hope you got value out of it. Thank you once again. I'm Robert Isaiah for Safe Space, New Jersey.